I'm going to wait a few more minutes just to allow people to settle in, whether settle into their environment or in their bodies. And for anyone who has joined live, I'm here in Zoom and in live. If you feel like you want to speak to me, you can go into my bio and there's a link. It's called Nourish Your Inner Sanctuary, and you can join the Zoom. So you can, if you choose to, if you want to, if you feel moved to, speak to me when we go through the reflection parts. So I'm gonna start in a few minutes. Hi, Mom. How are you? Does this help to heighten one's sexuality for couples? Well, to heighten your sexuality for your partner, you have to get in tune and tap into aspects of yourself that allows you to be more vulnerable, more open, more emotional. So in a sense, yes, nourishing your inner sanctuary, focusing on yourself first, finding the sensuality within yourself first, healing through traumas first, will help you be a better partner for better partner in general. Um, in this specific class and topic, it's titled Involve to Evolve. So getting involved with your healing process, so that you can evolve to be something greater, to be more than just what we have been programmed to be and designed to be. These are just a reminder of how mindfulness and metta can help bring both awareness and compassion for our process. So I hope that answered your question. I'm going to start in one more minute. Um, And if you're curious about this class and what I'm doing, it's a mindfulness meditation class. Today, I'm speaking about mindfulness and metta, which is also known as loving kindness. Um, so, and I'll be on here for about um, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the flow. Again, if you want to join into the Zoom, the link is in my bio, but you're welcome to stay here. There are some reflection questions I'm going to share so that we can dive deeper. All right, it is 6:05. So before we begin, I like to settle in and something I've been doing before my practice or before my class lately is acknowledging land, acknowledging the sun, acknowledging our ancestors, acknowledging teachers before me. So I do want to take the time before I begin diving into this topic to just acknowledge that and to invite you to acknowledge that within yourself as well. So, with that being said, I want to give thanks and acknowledge the land that I am existing on, the land that I'm navigating on, um, the indigenous people before us who have been on this land, who have nourished this land for us to even be here today. I want to thank the sacred grounds and to feel that ground. So I invite you to take a moment to just, wherever you are, just to feel the ground beneath you, this sense of grounding, this sense of knowing that you belong right here. And just feel that vibration and will feel whatever comes up for you. I also want to acknowledge the sun. acknowledge this amazing ray of light that gives life to our plants, and just thinking about the life that the plants receive from the sun, and the plants are able to give us oxygen so that we can breathe, and just this kind of like dance of how connected we are. Um, just giving light to that and noticing and feeling the benefits that the sun gives to our body, um, specifically. So I want to take the time to notice that, and to just feel what that sun will feel like for you. Whether you're outside or you're inside, just imagining the love of the sun, of the light nourishing your body, giving you the vitamins that you need to build and improve your immunity. So acknowledging that. And next, I want to acknowledge my ancestors, the ancestors that I know by name and the ancestors I do not know by name. I acknowledge them. I thank them for their wisdom and for somehow being able to leave clues for us, right? Whether that's ancient Kemet or wherever in different parts of the world, there's clues, there are books. And I give thanks for those ancestors to leave these things behind, these wisdoms behind, for us to use, to implement into our lives, so that we can continue to navigate and be the best versions of ourselves, for other people, and for this beautiful, abundant world. So I want to take the time to acknowledge them. And last but not least, I want to acknowledge both the living teachers of mindfulness, meditation, and metta or loving kindness practices, as well as acknowledging the root of these practices. We have known mindfulness for being very popular these days and given to us on a secular level, but there is some spiritual aspect to it, and without the teachings of them, we wouldn't have this foundation to bring more awareness and loving kindness to our lives. So I want to give thanks to all the teachers who dedicated their lives to this practice and to teaching it, and give thanks to and honor the roots of this practice. Whether I want to teach it on a spiritual level, practical level, secular level, I just need to honor the roots of it. So I want to take the moment to do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to have that space to give all my acknowledgements, and hopefully it served, or you were able to connect in some way, or maybe you found your own acknowledgements that you wanted to tap into. So today's topic, the overall class is called Nourishing Your Inner Sanctuary. And that came about last year, given like due to everything that I've been going through, and how through my life experiences, I recognize this internal home that I will always have. But this internal home needed to be a place that was welcoming. And for so long, it wasn't a place that was comforting. This place used to give me a lot of panic attacks. I still work through anxiety, but because I have a different relationship with my body, learning how to nourish my body and give it what it needs, I'm able to come back to this space even when it feels uncomfortable. I'm able to cultivate and implement practices that helps me deal with what is not comforting, and be there until it really is. So in tonight's topic, it's called Involve to evolve. And specifically, allowing ourselves to get involved with our healing process so that we can evolve to become beings of light, beings with more awareness, beings with more love and compassion, with more insight. And for me, the practice of mindfulness and metta, it's like I have, and what they often say is the two wings of practices. So with the mindfulness, you are cultivating this inner wisdom, this insight, awareness, non-judgment. And on the other end, where we have metta, or what is known as loving kindness, we have compassion, we have love, we have understanding. So when you bring the two together, I feel like that is a moment where we awaken our hearts. We awaken our world, our new perspective on how we see the world and how we navigate through the world. And we also recognize both the goodness that we have within ourselves, right? This goodness that we all have inside, and also our shadow. And when I hold these classes, I I welcome us here. I welcome us here in this safe space. I not only welcome us in our goodness or welcome us with our masks on, I welcome all aspects of ourselves. And when you come into this space and you are welcomed into this space, are you yourself welcoming all aspects of yourself? Are you welcoming the insecurities? Are you welcoming the joy? Are you welcoming the anger? Are you welcoming the maybe some aspects of us that are prejudiced? Are you welcoming impurities? Are you welcoming fear? Are you welcoming every part of yourself, the light and the dark? And that's what I want to kind of hold for us, to be okay and to be with these different qualities, these different emotions, so that we can understand them better, so that we can learn how to be our own teachers and learn how to transform those negative emotions or qualities into something more positive, useful for ourselves, useful for humanity, useful for the world that we live in. So, are you showing up for yourself fully? And sit with that and really feel into that. Are you showing up for yourself fully? And to whatever is arising, are you able to be with that fully? There's a quote from Nadia Bolz-Weber, and she says, I teach from my scars and not my wounds. I teach from my scars and not my wounds. So how do we really begin this process that supports our healing? And how do we navigate through the world from a place where we are healed? Let me rephrase that. How do we navigate, or how do we know we're navigating through our wounds versus navigating with scars? And a question that I want us to think about. The first question I have is, what are your wounds? So let me just make a clear distinction between the two. Wounds, as I see it, are still open. They have not yet healed. And your scars are closed, they are healed, right? And a lot of times we navigate in this world, we try to be dominant or speak from a place of the wounded self instead of the place of the self that just have scars, the battle scars. So the first reflection question is, what are your wounds? What are your open wounds? And are you navigating through the world with your open wounds? So you can reflect on this question with your eyes closed. Maybe you want to take a deep breath in, settle in, let the words, the sound vibration really penetrate into you as you think and reflect. What are your wounds? And navigating through the world with them? What are your wounds, and are you navigating through the world with them? And even if you can't fully answer that question right now, as you come into yourself, recognize what your body, what you're feeling when the question is being asked. What are your wounds, and are you navigating through the world with them? The next question is, what are your scars? What have you healed through? What's your story with your scars? And are you navigating in the world with scars? Are you in a position of teaching with scars? So again, you can soften your gaze or close your eyes and just feel into the question and just reflect on it. What are your scars? What are which was once wounds that healed? And are you navigating through the world in a healed space? And if you can't answer this question right now, allow yourself to be open to feel what is happening once you hear the words. Beautiful. Thank you, Valencia, for sharing. And it's so beautiful to, when we get involved with our healing so that we are able to evolve, it's such a maybe uncomfortable place, but a beautiful experience each time we recognize more about ourselves, more about our experiences. And I feel like there's a moment of empowerment that comes from all of this. And it's so uncomfortable, right? Just doing the shadow work can be, it's like sometimes we don't even want to go there, but then we don't even recognize how we're becoming trapped, our own inner trap from not doing the work, for not showing up. And it lingers. It creates these blockages within our bodies, within whether we want to look at the chakras or meridians. Like there are so many blockages, and this is where we have to look at our entire forms and energetic bodies. Right? We have the physical, we have the different auras that has the mental, the energies. There's just different things that can create these dis-ease within ourselves. So it's so important to me. And many of us will find what works for us. And clearly for me, because I'm teaching it, it's mindfulness and metta that works for me. So with mindfulness and metta, I believe that it can help us bring light to our shadows. And sometimes we don't even know that what our shadows are. Sometimes it takes a practice, sometimes it takes a person, an experience to kind of like awaken what was like dormant inside of us. Like, whoa, I didn't even know I had an issue or had a trigger with this. But that for me was basically my experience, like dealing with panic attacks and anxiety, depression, um, and just feeling all this discomfort and disease that was happening within my body because of that. Um, it wasn't until I started practicing mindfulness and metta where I was able to get to some truth. I was able to get to the root of a lot of my issues, and I'm still working through them, I'm still discovering. And some of us use many forms of distraction to avoid doing and completing this work. And that inhibits us from getting involved in our deep, deep healing. So I took a class with Sebeni Selassie. And one thing that she said, well, there was a lot of things that she said, but I quoted her on this. And she says, unconscious biases are unconscious, meaning you don't know you have them. And like I said before, sometimes it takes a situation, an experience, a person, or practice that helps you to awaken these shadows within us. And it can get very uncomfortable. It can bring you to tears. It can make you feel things you didn't want to feel, you were trying to avoid and didn't even know it. And this is why, for me, doing the best that I can to create a space, a safe space for us to continue to do work, not just alone, but with each other. So my next reflection question that I have is, when identifying with your shadow or traumas, how can bringing compassion and love benefit them? Let me ask it in a different way because I felt like that was confusing. What known shadows or traumas you have can benefit from compassion, love, and understanding? So, what known shadows or traumas you have can benefit from compassion, love, and understanding? Again, you can come back into your body, feel into the word sounds, soften your gaze or close your eyes and really think about the question. What known shadows, traumas you have can benefit from compassion, love, and understanding? Mm. I reposted a video. There was a fight, and this man stepped into the fight and was trying to like break it up. And the first time he went to the kids that were fighting, one of them went back to fight again, and so he went back again. And normally, when I see someone trying to break up a fight, it's like more of like they're being aggressive, like break it up, like da da da. But what this guy did was he held one of the men, the young boys, and it was like a soft hug, and he was rubbing his back, and you can see that he was whispering in his ear. I don't know what he was saying. Probably saying, "You're gonna be all right. You good." And that form of expression of compassion, of loving kindness, is so powerful. So when you shared, Valencia, that the traumas you face with your family members can benefit from compassion, I agree 100%. This energy, this response, this expression of compassion is so powerful, yet it also takes a level of vulnerability and great strength. I feel like there's more strength in showing love than this hate that we see, right? This rage. But there's this strength, this inner strength when we show compassion for ourselves and we just become the examples and we show up time after time after time again. And then possibly that compassion you showed for your trauma and yourself can then create a domino effect. It can kind of like extend to your family members that cause the traumas. And maybe not. And then we also have to be okay with that, and still share this compassion. And so that practice of metta, which I'll kind of go dive deeper into it, is this practice where we start with ourselves if we can handle giving love to ourselves. Because a lot of times we have challenges with sharing and giving love to ourselves. But metta also teaches us, or loving kindness also teaches us how to even extend that love and kindness and compassion to others. And not just like the ones that are good to us, but practicing compassion, loving kindness, and sending out that love and gratitude, even to those who have harmed us. And to be honest, for some people, staying with the self, they usually stay with the self for a very long time. And if they're not in the space where they can forgive or send compassion to someone who has harmed them, um, they would recite, "May I forgive myself for not forgiving them." So you're still like extending this love, right? Even if you're not even ready to forgive, you're still like, okay, not today, but tomorrow. Oh, I forgive myself for not doing it today, but may I be able to have the strength to do it tomorrow, and that's okay. And which brings me to my next point. These practices is not for us to be numb to what we're feeling. It's not to say, oh my God, this person just harmed me, but may he be well, may she be well, and just keep throwing it out there as if it's like gonna come true. You still have to be real with yourself. This is not about becoming or having spiritual bypass. This is not about being numb. This is not about being fake or wearing another mask. This is about being true to yourself, going deeper into your inner truth, recognizing what happened to you. You can have the anger, you can have the fears, you can have the mistrust, you can have the disappointments, you can have all of those things that are uncomfortable. But it's learning how to be with them. It's learning how to be the observer of them and not the reactor of them. So we can have these emotions, but how we use them, how we navigate with them, that is where the practice comes into play. To flourish, you must nourish. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am speaking to you from my scars. I sometimes disappear because I'm wounded. I'm bleeding. And I may have when you have that wound, you start to see like little new cells coming in. But what happens when you pick at it, right? It starts to bleed again. And that's the same thing for my teaching. I can't show up for you all if I'm still bleeding. And something else may occur and I have to go back into my cave and heal again. And that's okay. My experiences in life allows me to be a teacher that is very or strives to be authentic. And I believe we all have the inner teacher within us. And my goal is to share what has been working for me and you find what works for you. And we just all become our own inner teachers that are teaching others. And this is where we heal our generational trauma. This is the start. And having community is so important because I started alone. But it wasn't until I started meeting other people and going to classes and finding a teacher that really helped me to keep going. Because yes, these practices are simple, but doing them and experience them is so difficult. And it creates an unpleasant experience sometimes. Um, so I'm here speaking from my scars, my battle scars. And I want to encourage us to learn how to speak more from our scars, that power of storytelling, to understand what our traumas are, to have that responsibility, although not always our fault, but our responsibility to get involved with our traumas, to get involved with our healing so that we can evolve. We evolve for ourselves, we evolve for our friends and families, for strangers, for all living beings, for this earth. And we create such a powerful movement when we do this, but it always starts with us. And so just to recap, mindfulness and metta. When you look at a bird and they have their wings and they're flying gracefully in the sky, it just looks so peaceful, doesn't it? And so that's how I am looking at mindfulness and metta, the two wings, so we can navigate gracefully through life. Give thanks. Thank you. So I would love for us to practice some self-metta. And self-metta, the Western world translated metta into loving kindness. And in order to have this body as our inner sanctuary, we must be kind to it, not just the exterior parts, right? Not just taking care of what looks good, but also taking care of our inner worlds. And we start with the self-love. So wherever you are watching this, find a comfortable position. We're going to get ready to sit and meditate. And we're going to practice metta. And you can sit on a chair. You can sit on the floor with your legs crossed, or you can stand or you can lay down. Just a note, if you are laying down, you may want to bend your knees. So, and also maybe bend an arm just to help you stay aware and not fall asleep. If you're standing, your hands can be over your stomach or by your side, whatever feels comfortable for you in this practice. This is your practice and this is your body, so find what works for you. So begin to soften your gaze. You can look straight ahead, look down, or completely close your eyes. And begin to feel into your body in this moment. Begin to recognize the breath. And start to recognize where the breath is easiest to detect. When we inhale, do you feel it in the back of your throat? When you exhale, do you feel it tickling the top of your lips? Do you feel the rising and falling of your chest and stomach area? Where do you feel the breath more easily? Oftentimes, the breath may be a uncomfortable anchor for us. So you can go to bodily sensations. We can scan the body real quick and notice what the body feels like. Does the body feel tense, or are there any areas of tension? And even with this quick practice of being present, what does your body feels like in your position? Do you feel the cushion that you're sitting on? What does the ground feel like? With your hands placed wherever feels comfortable for you, what does the hand feel like? Do you feel like your body is getting warm or cool? Do you feel fidgety? Do you feel calm? This is your moment to be present. And this is helping us to have certain anchors that brings us to the present moment. So another anchor that I would love to share with you is the anchor of sound. The environment around you. Just noticing what you can hear. And for some of us, thoughts probably already arise in our mind, and that's okay. But we can come back to the breath, our bodily sensations, and our external sounds to anchor us right back. This is how we practice coming back to being present. So, the practice of metta, I invite you, as I say these self-love phrases, for you to say them mindfully. You can say them out loud if you want to, just mindfully, just repeat them. You can also come up with phrases that works for you. As you sink deeper into your body, preparing yourself to offer yourself some loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel safe and at ease. May I feel protected from inner and outer harm. May I be happy. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be peace. May I know the natural joy of being alive. May I find true refuge within my own inner sanctuary. May my heart and mind awaken. May I be free. We'll repeat that. And again, anytime thoughts arises, just find the best anchor for you. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel safe and at ease. May I feel protected from inner and out of harm. May I be happy. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be peace. May I know the natural joy of being alive. May I find true refuge within my own inner sanctuary. May my heart and mind awaken. May I be free. Repeat these phrases to yourself or phrases that you create for yourself. Take that moment to feel in the body. What does it feel like to share and extend this love to yourself? What does it feel like every time you repeat these phrases to yourself? And if you find that the self is challenging right now, and visualize a loved one that you would love to extend loving kindness to. Replacing the I with you. Remembering your anchors, remembering the phrases. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel safe and at ease. May I feel protected from inner and outer harm. May I be happy. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be peace. May I know the natural joy of being alive. May I find true refuge within my own inner sanctuary. May my heart and mind awaken. May I be free. You can rub the palms of the hands together. Bring it over your eyes. Inhale deeply. And on the exhale, remove the hands, coming back into this space. And the practice of metta, especially with the self, can go as long as you need it to be. Your metta practice could probably be the only practice for the whole entire year. And again, as I mentioned during the meditation, sometimes the self is hard to work with. And if that's the case, you can extend loving kindness to someone. Oh, Shelly, yes, you did it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Brings me so much joy. But just feeling into what it means to get involved with your healing process, to allow the wound to become a scar, and to speak from a place of more wisdom, to have more insight, to have this rest in awareness of what it is that is arising within your reality. And to do that with great strength and to recognize all aspects of yourself and love all aspects of yourself, the light and the shadow. And then having metta as the foundation that allows us to express compassion, express understanding, express love from a real, true, deep, non-judgment place. And it takes practice. With anything we do, it takes practice. So continue to practice this self-love of adding metta into your life and mindfulness into your life, and even recognize when these moments of anger, fear, just different unpleasant feelings arises for you, and start to practice this mindfulness to where you're not reacting, but you're observing what's happening. And I believe that this is the place where we transform those unwanted or negative emotions, so to speak, into something more positive, and not only transforming them, but spending time with them to understand them. Because anger, although our reaction to them can be negative, sometimes anger might not be negative. Anger could just be the teacher to why you're getting angry. And then you can be like, oh, okay, I hold compassion for that. I understand that. And now, okay, I get it. I get my anger. So anger and these emotions, they're part of us. They're our teachers too. So spend time with that. And I thank you all for joining in. And if you have any questions, uh, you can type them in here. I keep looking away because I'm also doing this via Zoom. So I hold these classes every Tuesday at 6 via Zoom. The link is in my bio if you ever want to just use sound vibrations to kind of connect and continue the vibe of healing. So if you have any questions, I'll stay here for a little while. I've learned anger is how we punish ourselves for others' mistakes. I learned anger is how we punish ourselves for other mistakes. Interesting. If I'm understanding it correctly, your anger is your punishment. Is that what you're saying for other mistakes? To speak to that, I would say our response to anger can be our punishment to ourselves for other mistakes. The anger is the emotion. The anger can also be the trigger. We can use mindfulness to bring awareness, or actually we can use mindfulness to bring insight to anger. What caused this anger? Why did I get angry? And to go even further, why did I react this way to anger? Because you can get angry. It's okay to get angry. It's part of our emotions. We shouldn't suppress our emotions, all of it. How we show up to that emotion, I will invite you to explore that deeper. Any more questions? I'll stay on for just a little while. Also, you can send me messages if the questions you have is too intimate, you don't want others to see it. Definitely, you can send me a message in my DM. I'll be happy to continue the conversation with you and answer any questions you may have. But I want to thank you for tuning in and joining me. And again, my DM is open for all. And I hold these classes at 6 p.m. Via Zoom. I probably will do it live again. We'll see how it goes. Okay. I thank you again, and may you be well. May you be filled with inner peace. May you be free from all inner and outer harm. May you know the beauty of being alive. May you be free, and may you always find refuge in your own inner sanctuary. Thank you. Peace.